Is there a perfect time to go to Disney World? No, not really. But there are some pretty good times and some pretty awful times. And I'm going to break them all down by price, crowds, and weather. And I'm going to offer you a freebie at the end of this video. Hi, I'm Christina, and our family of 5 have lived in Central Florida for about a year now. And we've really learned when to go into the parks and when not to go into the parks. So hit that subscribe button for more family vacation tips. And let's get started with price. Oh, but before we do, I want to tell you about my brand new Disney World planning guide for families just like yours. And it's called, well, Disney World Planning Guide for Families. And it covers the tips that I'm about to share with you and park strategies, dining guide, hotel pros and cons, and so much more. So if you are in full planning mode, check the description below for the link to get 10% off. And it could make a huge difference to help your Disney World vacation be so much smoother, and it costs less than a quick service meal. So check it out. Now, let's start with price. And when I say price, I'm mostly talking about hotel stays. Although ticket prices and Lightning Lane prices do vary throughout the year, dining and dining plan costs don't really fluctuate at all. But Disney does offer discounts, and I will get to that in a little bit. All right, so the lowest price seasons are September, January, and the first part of May. The average price seasons are May 15th through June 10th, December 1st through December 23rd, February 1st through February 15th, June 11th through August 31st, October 1st through November 25th, and November 29th and November 30th. Now, these dates can vary by year too, so keep that in mind when you're looking. And then the highest prices, or the peak seasons, are February 16th through April 12th. Wow, that's a big gap. April 21st through April 30th, November 26th through November 28th, April 13th through April 20th, and December 24th through December 31st. So when prices are high, does that mean you shouldn't plan your visit during those times? Absolutely not. As I said before, Disney offers discounts throughout the whole year, and they vary of what kind of discounts they are and when they are offered. And if you use a free travel agent, yes, I said free travel agent, they can keep track of those discounts for you if you book through them. It's a pretty good deal, honestly. I have friends who are travel agents, and I'll link their contact information in the description below. And there are other ways to save money too, like DVC Rental Store, where you can actually rent DVC points to stay at those luxurious deluxe level hotels. And my affiliate link for DVC Rental Store is actually in the description below. So check them out and they'll walk you through the process. Next, let's move on to crowds. Now, there will be people in the parks with you throughout the whole year, but some days there will be less than others. And even some months have less than others, usually. So I'm going to share with you what I found from a crowd calendar predictor. And full disclaimer, they're not always accurate. And that's okay. I'll share with you tips on how to avoid crowds even on the busiest days. But the least busy times of the year are late January to mid-February, late February, and late February. So pretty much all of February. Late April to mid-May, mid-August to early October, mid-November, and early December. Generally when school breaks aren't happening. And the moderate crowd levels are like mid-January, which actually surprised me, early March, weekends in May, late May to late June, mid-July to early August, weekends in September, early October and late October, and mid-December. Now, the busiest times of the year are going to be early January and weekends, mid-February, mid-March till late April, late June to early July, mid-October, early and late November, and mid to late December. And as you can see, they all correlate with school breaks. And if you do need to go during those times, there are ways to avoid the crowds, even on the most crowded days. Like avoid being in the parks on the weekends. That's true all year round. If you're doing lightning lanes, purchase those as far in advance as possible, and I do recommend lightning lanes during this season. And make your selection as far in advance as you can. So if you are staying at a Disney resort, you can book your lightning lanes 7 days in advance. And I recommend booking them at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's when you can book them. I'm not 100% sure, but if I'm wrong, please comment below. Also, mornings and evenings are usually the least crowded times of the day. Not always, just usually. And book a table service restaurant in the afternoon when crowds, wait times are at their highest and the weather is at this highest. I'll get to that in a little bit. And you can just escape from the crowds in a nice, relaxing, air-conditioned table service restaurant. It'll make everyone happy, I promise, or want to take a nap. Either way, it's a good way to escape the crowds. Now, let's talk weather, because Florida has a lot of it, and it can feel quite intense, especially if you're not expecting it. Now, if you are a Florida resident, please kindly correct me if I'm wrong about this. But in my time at Florida, I think there are only 2 seasons. There's winter and there's summer. And even though winter isn't really winter, it just feels more like spring, but less rain than you would associate with spring. If that makes sense? So the coolest and most comfortable times of the year are gonna be December through February. Temperatures are about upper 60s to upper 70s. The humidity is lower and the precipitation is also lower. Now, the times of the year when it's hot yet bearable are going to be March through mid-May and then October through November. Now, this time is still pretty warm. Temperatures are about upper 70s to upper 80s. There are select days of high humidity and there will be some precipitation. Now, the times when there's the most heat, most humidity, and most rain are gonna be mid-May through September, and maybe a little bit in October. Prepare for everything. Temperatures are about upper 80s to low 100s, especially with that heat index and humidity feeling a lot hotter than it really is. Of course, the humidity is high and the precipitation is pretty high too, usually daily in the afternoons, maybe for about 15 minutes even. And this season is also known as the hurricane season, so that's another factor to consider. Hurricanes are usually going to appear later in the summer and early fall, but you really never know. And I don't think they come as often as this like hurricane season sounds. Like it sounds like there's going to be hurricanes all the time. I haven't noticed that being here, but I've only been here a year. So, you know, if you are a Florida resident, please comment about hurricane season below and your experience. But even in the worst weather, there's still ways to have a good time. Unless there's a hurricane, then that's a different level. But if it's just hot and humid and sometimes rainy, here are some things that you can do. Rain usually comes in the afternoon, so do your must-dos in the morning hours. Pack fans, cooling rags, umbrellas, ponchos, and refillable water bottles. I'll leave a whole list of the items that we use in the description below. And remember, when you walk through security, make sure you hold anything metal out of your bag in sight and in front of you, like away from your body. Otherwise, you will have to go to bag check. And just like to avoid the crowds, I recommend booking dining reservations in the afternoons during peak weather times because it gets you out of the heat, out of the rain, whatever weather is happening, you get to sit, enjoy, relax, and eat. And that will give you energy to handle the rest of the day or go back to your hotel room for a nap. Your choice. Now, given all that we have covered, what time of year is the sweet spot for going to Disney World? Well, I would say in general, not a guarantee, but in general, it will be late January to early February or early May. I'll probably do another one of these videos after I've been here another year so I can really test this out more. But that's what I found. Late January, early February, early May. Also, I wanted to recommend that you check Disney's refurbishment calendar. I don't think it's on the Disney World website, but there are other Disney tourist blogs that have it, where it talks about refurbished schedules, like for hotels and rides. So if your heart is set on going on Big Thunder Mountain, I recommend not going right now because it is under a massive refurbishment and it should open, I believe, next year. And I even have a free attraction guide in the description that I try to keep as up to date as possible of what dates refurbishments are happening, when attractions are closing, and things like that. Right now, Disney World is going through a lot of changes, and so there's a lot of it. So be sure to check it before your trip. Hey, okay, so I'm recording this the next day because I completely forgot other factors that you want to consider when booking your Disney World vacation, and that is seasons, like holidays. Around Halloween time, which starts in August apparently, they have what's called Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which is a separately ticketed event. So if you have park tickets and you want to go to the party, you have to buy a separate ticket for the party. Make sense? And essentially you get to dress up in costume no matter how old you are, and you can go trick-or-treating. There's exclusive character meet and greets, as well as special treats and food and an awesome parade. And I break it all down in another video where I give you my best tips on how to navigate Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Oh, there's fireworks too. But I'll link that video in the description, so you can check it out if you're planning to attend Mickey's Not So Scary. And then around Christmas time, there are two separately ticketed events. One is at Magic Kingdom, which is Mickey's Very Merry Christmas, where instead of trick-or-treating, you get cookies and hot cocoa or cider or eggnog, whatever each station is serving. And it's really nice, it's really magical. Again, exclusive character meet and greets, fireworks, parade, all the fun Christmas things. And then there's also Hollywood Studios Jollywood Nights, which is I think more geared towards adults than kids, even though kids are obviously welcome. There's some exclusive lounge options. There's the shows like the Nightmare Before Christmas sing-along, which I hear is really good. I personally haven't been to Jollywood Nights, but I hear it's really fun, and you can dress up really nice and fancy and think glittery Hollywood around Christmas time, and that's what this event is. So there's even a show led by the Muppets, which I think they should really do Muppets Christmas Carol, but that's either here or there. Hopefully we'll get to see that soon. It's only been a couple years. So anyways, Christmas time is a beautiful time of year. They still have the regular entertainment, attractions, everything is still pretty much the same, except for those separately ticketed events. So if you really want to go to those events, those are the times to do it. So again, for Halloween, it's August through Halloween. And for those Christmas events, it's November into December. Those time windows don't really change year to year. And then not only do you have fun holiday stuff, but you also have Epcot's food festivals, which happen all year round and will probably be there whenever you go. And I love these festivals. So essentially they are food booths around all of Epcot, especially around World Showcase, where you get to try different food, different drinks all around the world. And they're really fun. They're inspired by each festival they're in, and I highly recommend them. I made lots of videos showing you what all there is at each festival, but essentially the dates for each festival include the first one being Festival of the Arts, which is one of my favorites. That's about late January through February. And then there's the Flower and Garden Festival, which is in the springtime from March till June. And then it takes a summer festival break. And the next one is actually at the end of August, which is the Food and Wine Festival, which is the longest festival, and that takes place from, like I said, end of August until November. And then after Thanksgiving is Festival of the Holidays. Now, if you want to experience Christmas time at Disney World, but you don't want to buy a separately ticketed event, Epcot's going to be your place, because there are so many things to do around Christmas time. Like I said, from Thanksgiving through Christmas, they have Festival of the Holidays, and that not only includes those food booths, but also Santa storytellers. Yeah, Santa. For the cultures that have a Santa or Santa representative, they actually have those Santa storytellers telling the story of their Saint Nicholas or Pierre Noel or Barn Santa in Norway. It's really cool, very entertaining. They're fantastic storytellers, so a lot you can do at Epcot around the holidays. Plus, there's Candlelight Processional, was where a celebrity narrator, and Disney will announce who is narrating when, in about October, I think. And essentially this celebrity narrator reads the story of the birth of Jesus out of the Bible, and it is beautiful as they tell the story of Christmas, Jesus' birth, while a choir sings the beautiful Christmas carols and that go along with the story. Highly recommend it. It's a must-see, and the celebrity narrators include like Josh Gad, Neil Patrick Harris. I saw Brendan Fraser last year. I haven't had a video of it. So there's a lot to do around Christmas. So if you're really wanting to see what it's like to do Disney around Christmas, it's beautiful. But yeah, all that to say, I want you to consider those factors when planning when to go. And again, if you want details on any of those festivals, I recommend you check out any of my other videos where I go explore those festivals and try different food and explain what each festival has to offer. And I'll just put all the links in the description. But ultimately, all that I've said, you really have to go with what is best for your family's schedule. Even if it's the worst times, according to what I shared, there's still ways to get around that and still make magical memories, because it's about experiencing Disney World with your family and making those memories, not necessarily about the experience themselves. I know you're spending a lot of money, but I promise you can still have a great time. And if you want a free PDF of all the time windows I've shared in this video about price, crowds, and weather, then check that description. And if you want more planning help, once again, check that description because I have my full planning guide there. Okay, so now that you have figured out when is the best time to go to Disney World, what's the next step? Well, I got a video right here for you where I break down all the steps in planning your Disney vacation. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I hope you have a very magical day and a happily ever after. Bye.